I don't like people. I was raised in a crowded orphanage and grew to hate the constant noise. People are all so annoying with their questions, complaints, tantrums, and expectations. I much prefer a quiet paradise with no people to hassle me, which is why I live out in the country far from the crowded city where I was raised. Here, everything is in control, like it should be. My mailbox is always empty, so I was shocked when I opened it this morning and found an envelope sitting there. I pick it up. Curious. No return address or name. I'll read it inside since it's really cold out here. Maybe I should just throw it away. Nah, what if it's worth something valuable? I might have hit the jackpot. Huh, weird. Just an old black and white photo of two girls, twins, with somber, creepy expressions. I notice that it's torn on one side. Maybe they cut someone out of the photo. Shrugging my shoulders, I crumple it and throw it in the trash. That night, I toss and turn before I finally fall asleep around midnight. While dreaming, I see the girls from the photo whispering to me.
Help us! Help us! Please help us!
I have the strange sensation of being pushed underwater and slowly sinking to the bottom of the lake. I suddenly wake up shivering and notice that my clothes are soaked, not from sweat, but from muddy pond water. I can see wet footprints on the wood floor leading out of my room. I follow the footprints to the trash can where the picture I had thrown away is now laying flat, with wet fingerprints on the edges. The hairs on the back of my neck stand up, and I can feel myself starting to hyperventilate. I'm kind of freaked out, so I go into the living room and decide to watch some TV to take my mind off my weird dreams and the creepy photo. Before long, I've drifted back to sleep and I'm dreaming again. I'm out on a little boat watching puffy clouds float by. There's a little girl in a white dress sitting next to me, when all of a sudden, strong, wrinkled fingers are squeezing my neck. I struggle to breathe, kicking frantically. I gasp as my world slowly goes black. Frantic and awake, I jump off the couch. My neck is sore, so I check the mirror, noticing it is covered in bruises. They look like handprints. Then it occurred to me that one of the creepy girls from that picture was in my dream. I stumble across the room, grabbing the photo to examine it more closely. Wait, I recognize the house they're posing in front of. It's the creepy old Wilcott mansion, about 5 miles from here. The clock reads 2 a.m. I race out the door and jump in my truck. In no time, I'm parked in the shadow of a decaying Victorian mansion, surrounded by rotting oak trees. The place looks menacing in the moonlight, but I'm determined to get to the bottom of these tortured dreams. I pound on the door. An old man answers the door just like a butler.
Can I help you?
He's gaunt and slightly hunched over. I shove the torn photo in his face. Did you leave this in my mailbox? Who are these girls, and why are they haunting me? Peering at the photo, the old man's eyes begin to tear up.
Why, it's Claudia and Lily Wilcott. They were the mistresses of this house before their tragic death 15 years ago. The twin girls and their little brother Oliver all drowned in the lake, although their bodies was never found. I don't know why they've chosen to haunt you, but God knows they put a curse on this place. There's no one left of the Wilcott family but their great aunt Gertrude. She's a mistress now, and I ask you to keep from shouting so you don't disturb her sleep. There she goes again. Must be another nightmare. If you'll excuse me, sir.
My head is spinning. I return home exhausted and can't keep from falling asleep. Soon, I'm dreaming again. I'm in a little boat with the two pale little twins and an old woman.
When are we to have our picnic, Aunt Gertrude?
There's an old lady rowing the boat with a sour expression. The wind begins to blow in a thick layer of fog. I hear the twins whispering again.
Help us! Help us! She killed us! Help us! She killed us! Protect us! Help us! Help us! Protect us!
Suddenly, there's a high pitched scream and wailing. Out of the fog, one of the boat's oars comes careening and whacks me on the head. I wake with a start. My head is throbbing and I clutch my face. My hands come away covered in blood. There's a large gash on my forehead, as if I'd actually been hit with an oar. I return to the Wilcott mansion, but this time I don't knock on the door. I sneak in through the back. I am desperate to find clues and to break this curse. My survival just might depend on it, as I'm not sure I can endure more living nightmares. I creep through the dark house, slowly walking up a long set of stairs. On the second floor, I find a bedroom that must have belonged to the girls. On a shelf is a black and white picture of the twins, an exact match of the photo that showed up in my mailbox, only this picture has no tears. I can feel my breathing getting faster and faster, for standing beside them is a boy with a face I recognize, my own. I am the boy, Oliver, who they thought had drowned with his sisters, whose body was never found. There is a cold draft and a rustling noise behind me. Long, bony fingers touch my shoulder, and a raspy voice says,
I knew you would come home one day, Oliver.
I turn and see the 100-year-old face of Aunt Gertrude. Her cheeks are hollow, her eyes are restless and feverish. There's a fine layer of sweat covering her wrinkled face. She starts to walk backward.
I never should have done it. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I wanted the mansion and their inheritance, but I could never enjoy it, not with the nightmares torturing me. I can still see little Claudia's black, lifeless eyes bulging when I strangled her. I can still hear Lily crying every night in my dreams. Right before I whack her in the head with the oar and I throw their little bodies overboard. You were just a baby, easy to leave outside the steps of the orphanage. I took the house and all the money, but the twins won't stop torturing me. So I left you the picture, knowing they'd reach out to you from their watery grave, knowing they would lure you here to break the curse. You can have it all, just free me from this poison.
As the old witch rambles on, her foot gets caught in the rug at the top of the steps. With a wail, she tumbles down the long set of stairs. Stunned, I run down to examine her. There is a gash on her forehead, in the shape of a boat oar, and around her neck is a row of bruises, as if hands had squeezed it very tightly. Out of her lifeless mouth trickles muddy lake water. The next day, I find myself standing at the foot of my twin sisters' graves, laying brightly colored flowers on their headstone. The sun fills the sky, and I can hear the sound of birds chirping happily. I feel a sense of calm, knowing that my nightmares are over and the curse is broken. My two sisters' spirits are finally at peace.